Hello, I'm Lindsay,
And I'm Ellie.
and we both work for Kent Libraries. I'm going to have a chat about some books that are really helpful to use with people living with dementia. They're called Pictures to Share, and there are over 20 titles. Here's just a few of them. There's Pets, and there's Memories of Childhood from the 1950s and 60s.
And a couple of my favourites are A Funny Old World and At the Seaside. So, Lindsay, why do people with dementia need special books?
These books were designed because when people develop dementia, they can gradually lose the ability to enjoy traditional books, magazines, and newspapers. These can become too complex because of complicated layouts and large amounts of small print, and they can be confusing for the person living with dementia. But even people with late stage dementia can enjoy beautiful pictures and text that's presented in a clear way.
And how do these books help someone with dementia?
When someone has dementia, they can find it difficult to understand the world around them and to communicate with their family, their friends, and their carers. Pictures to Share books can help prompt conversation about a wide range of subjects, and they can also be enjoyed when the person living with dementia is no longer able to talk. Sharing the books can help improve mood, relieve depression, calm agitation, and help reduce feelings of isolation by providing an opportunity to enjoy shared time together with friends, family, and carers.
And what's it like using the books with someone with dementia?
Sharing the books should help to make the person with dementia feel calm and relaxed. The person may read the words even when others believe that they can no longer read. They might smile and laugh at the images. A picture might prompt conversation about something that happened in the past. Some people might stroke the page or trace the outline of the picture with their fingers. They might talk to the person in the picture, even when they're not able to talk to the people around them. And some people will think that they recognise people or places in the pictures. The books can help deal with difficult behaviour, such as agitation and distress. They provide a distraction by offering a calming and enjoyable activity. And the books also provide something for visitors to do when they go to see their family or friends, making their time together more enjoyable. So, Ellie, could you share some ideas about using Pictures to Share books in practice?
Yes, of course. In my role in libraries, I've used Pictures to Share books to deliver to both groups and individual sessions with people living with dementia. And my mother's also in a care home, so I've also used the book successfully to deliver a reminiscence session. They're for older people, but they didn't have a diagnosis of dementia. So I'm going to share some top tips that I've learned along the way, and there'll be points that apply to jointly for both groups and individuals, and then I'll mention some things specifically for groups and individuals. So jointly, some of these things might seem obvious, but I think they're worth pointing out. So create an inviting atmosphere as possible, turn off TVs and radios, and shut doors if needed. I once did a session near the canteen. That wasn't very successful. Make sure everyone's comfortable. And if you're going to have refreshments, do that before or after looking at the book. Otherwise, it causes a distraction, or even worse, it could cause distress if the tea was built on one of the books. Or we have had a discussion over who's going to have the last chocolate digestive. So decide who's going to hold the book, if possible, and turn the pages. And if possible, allow the person living with dementia to do this. And it might be useful to have a table for them to rest the book on. Sometimes as a carer, you're going to be really eager to join in, but do let the participant have the opportunity to speak first. Otherwise, they can lose the thread of what they're going to say. But do join in with the text and read together if needed. Every double page has a short poem or description and then a photo or a painting. And you might think that the participant's going to think about what's on the page, but it might trigger a memory completely unrelated, and all responses are valid, so just go with the flow. You can use props. At the seaside book, I took along a bucket and spade and shells and a sun hat, and they worked really well. But that was with people with early stage dementia. But I have been at a session where they've not worked so well and caused confusion. So just stop using them and put them aside. And repetition is really good. You might get really bored, but familiarity can be comforting for those living with dementia.
And what about using the books one-to-one with somebody?
Again, try and approach with a relaxed manner. See where the books take you and go with it. It doesn't matter if you jump several pages because there's no story to follow. And you've got the luxury of going at whatever pace suits you and the individual. So relax and enjoy. And remember, you don't have to go through the whole book at just one session.
And how about using the books with a group together?
I would suggest a maximum of 6 people living with dementia in a group, plus carers. Although I have delivered to a larger group as a reminiscence session. A circle layout works really well in groups, but do allow enough space for any walking aids. I had a very tight circle, but that meant that nobody could get in when they were using their walkers, and so there was disruption moving the chairs. A large hall with few furnishings can be very echoey, so not ideal. If appropriate, set some ground rules, and again this will depend on the stage of dementia the participants are living with, and discourage individual discussions, otherwise it becomes too distracting. And when facilitating a group session, decide if everyone's going to have their own copy of the book. I prefer this approach as it's much more inclusive. On the other hand, if you want more control, then you might just want to be the one with the book. It's useful to turn the pages at the same time so you're all looking at the same page, but again, take a relaxed approach. And try and include everyone. Give them the opportunity to read or describe from the page, but some won't feel comfortable doing this, so just move swiftly on.
Thank you. And have you got any sort of final thoughts to share, Ellie?
Just that one carer said her husband had got upset looking at the personal photos because he felt he should be able to remember who they were in the photos. But the neutral photos in the books meant he was able to enjoy them without the same negative effect. So she was really pleased with the books. And lastly, in a group session, a lady who hadn't spoken for 2 years started reciting the poem, "I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud," when I read it out. And by the second line, she joined in and read the whole poem. And I have to say there were a few tears from the carers. And I'd just like to finish by saying, have a go. You're not being judged. And I was really nervous with my first session, but just relax and have fun. And I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, thank you. That's really helpful. So just in summary, the pictures to share titles can help make communication easier. They can help provide an enjoyable activity. They can reduce boredom, depression and isolation. They can help deal with difficult behaviour. They can encourage reminiscence, and they can work as a positive distraction. So you can borrow pictures to share titles from libraries in Kent, and we hope you might give them a try.